Good. Okay. Everybody's heard of the resolutions and recommendations. It was our task on the committee for the R&Rs to come up with proposed R&Rs for 2013 to 2015. Before I go into, I was going to put them all up and let you have a quick look at them, but let me tell you that on page 49 of your conference report, you can read them at your leisure, and please do so. On Saturday afternoon, we'll ask you to vote to approve these resolutions and recommendations. Before I show them to you, I just wanted to quickly note that a year ago in Dublin, Pam Perot got together a group of the UN NGO reps and asked us to think about how we could focus our energies and our efforts, and to kind of clarify who Falco is and what Falco does in terms of for ourselves and also for the UN. And we agreed that we wanted to put priority on and make explicit our attention and our priority to issues that affect women. As Mylene pointed out this morning in her report, this is something we've always been doing. We just really wanted to clarify it and say this is our focus. What we also yesterday, when we were at those of us who were at the UN, heard a lot about the incredible work that the UN and the US mission to the UN are doing around women's issues, and we're really pleased to be a part of that. So we want to really raise our profile in that area. So we've always been helping women, whether it's in our local communities, whether it's the work we do on behalf of overseas Americans, or whether it's our support for member clubs who in turn are helping their members around the world, whether it's the Foundation Education Awards and development grants. All of this work that we're doing, we want to, as we heard at the UN, and Mylene repeated it today, using the lens of women. So it was our task to then translate this new emphasis into the R&Rs. The committee, we spent a lot of time thinking about the R&Rs and what did Falco really do? What could we say we really are doing in the areas of our work? So we would like to present these R&Rs to you. And what I wanted to mention, you'll see as I go through them in detail, but the 4 active verbs in the resolutions are improve, advocate, support, and contribute. And I think we can all agree this is what we all are sort of committed to doing in our lives in Falco. The first resolution is to improve the lives of women and girls worldwide, especially in the areas of human rights, health, education, and environment. We recommend to promote the UN Millennium Development Goals, particularly those that address women's issues, to increase Falco's engagement as an accredited UN NGO by working on global women's issues with the UN Women and the UN NGO Committee on the Status of Women. And we want to encourage club events to celebrate International Women's Day each year, as we will be doing here on Friday on the bridge. We want to focus global task force efforts on ending violence against women, improving women's health, promoting equal access to education for women and girls, and encouraging active aging for women. We want to establish criteria to ensure that the next cycle of the Target program explicitly improves the lives of women. And we will continue to campaign for ratification by the US Congress of the UN Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. For those of you who weren't there, that was also mentioned yesterday by the representative from the US mission to the UN, so it's not forgotten. We are continuing to keep that on the radar screen. The second resolution is to advocate for the rights of American citizens living and working overseas. The first recommendation is to serve as a recognized voice in Washington, D.C. for overseas Americans, working with the Americans Abroad Caucus in the U.S. Congress, the Departments of State, Treasury, and Defense, and other partner organizations to shape U.S. legislation and regulations that address the special needs of Americans living abroad, including voting rights, citizenship rights, taxation, and banking. In other words, to carry on the incredible work that Lucy and the U.S. Issues team are doing. We want to provide tools and information to empower overseas Americans to more effectively manage the tax, banking, and legal complexities of their overseas lives, and look good sitting at a computer while doing it. We want to disseminate overseas voter registration information, promote and facilitate voting from overseas, and encourage active citizenship. Keep Falco members informed about issues arising in the U.S. that can have an impact on Americans living and working overseas. Advocate for more effective representation in Washington for U.S. citizens overseas. And contribute to efforts to obtain reliable statistics on Americans overseas, or in this case, underwater. The third resolution is to support member club success by strengthening the Falco network and expanding access to ideas, information, and club development resources. We recommend that we provide opportunities for member club presidents and Falco reps to exchange ideas, information and resources, share best practices, and learn from one another in order to develop and sustain more successful clubs. We want to improve the user-friendliness of Falco's website, making it more attractive, informative, and useful to member clubs and other women living internationally. We want to stay abreast of the latest available technologies to facilitate communication and promote Falco programs. Encourage more active participation of member clubs in conferences, regional meetings, and Falco committees. And strengthen the Falco network by attracting new member clubs, both American and international. And the fourth and final resolution is to contribute to a better and more peaceful world by encouraging all members of Falco clubs to practice good global citizenship. We want to promote opportunities for member clubs to get involved in Falco's work on global issues and philanthropy. Champion the role of the UN in promoting world peace and improving lives. Raise awareness of the work of the UN and encourage member clubs to observe UN Day each year. And promote cross-cultural understanding and respect for international perspectives through Falco's Sharing Cultures Global Task Force at conferences and at meetings. And encourage member clubs to participate actively in their communities and collaborate with other international organizations. Work to meet the educational needs of bicultural children and those who learn differently, living and learning overseas. Encourage all our international members to stay informed about legislation in their home countries that affect their rights and responsibilities as overseas citizens. And finally, serve as models of environmental stewardship by taking steps to reduce the impact of climate change. Recycle, reduce energy and water consumption, offset the impact of air travel, and adopt green measures in our daily lives. I just want to thank the members of the R&R Committee, Kelly Al-Nashmi, Sally Chabalier, Kelly Fitzgerald, who's here, Peggy Rigaud, and Beth Sanders. If anybody has any questions, we clearly don't have time for any discussion right now, but perhaps on Saturday afternoon we may. And if you have anything you'd like to discuss with me or with Sally or with Kelly, find us between now and Saturday. We'll be happy to hear what you have to say and if you have anything you would like to contribute. I also want to thank Lynn and Pan and Lucy and Margaret and all of you who gave us valuable feedback. Thanks a lot.